Welcome back. In part 1, we prepared our C# development environment in Visual Studio Code, installed the .NET Software Development Kit, and ran our first simple console application. Now in part 2, your first C# program, we'll examine how a C# program is structured, write our first lines of code, and interact with the user. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Muhammad Audi with Synapse AI Solutions, and this is your first C# program. Over the next few minutes, we'll see how a C# application is put together and build a simple working example. Let's get started. Here's today's roadmap. First, we'll discuss why an organized structure is essential in C# code. Next, we'll explore the minimal top-level program style and compare it to the classic approach. We'll explain the keywords using, namespace, class, and the main method. Then we'll look at string interpolation, complete a lab where we greet the user, tackle a bonus challenge with input parsing, review common beginner mistakes, recap what we've learned, and finish with your next steps. Why focus on structure? A clear organization keeps your code maintainable as your project grows. It prevents naming conflicts, makes debugging simpler, and helps teammates, or your future self, understand your intent. Laying a solid foundation now will save you time and frustration later. With C# 9.0 and .NET 5 and above, you can write a single statement program. For example, console.writeLine, hello world. That one line prints text to the console without any extra boilerplate. Behind the scenes, the compiler still generates a program class and a main method, but you don't have to type them yourself when you're experimenting or learning. For full control, or if you target older frameworks, you use the traditional structure, a using statement to import namespaces. A namespace declaration to group your code, a program class that contains the logic, a main method as the entry point. This explicit form makes every part of the application clear and is what you'll see in most production code bases. In C#, keyword using lets you import a namespace so you can reference its types without writing the full path. For example, using system means you can write console.writeLine instead of system.console.writeLine. In newer versions, you can also write using var_reader equal file.openread data txt to ensure the resource is automatically cleaned up at the end of its scope. A namespace is a logical container that prevents naming collisions. You can declare it in block form namespace myapp. It groups related types together. In C#, almost everything lives inside a class. A class is a blueprint for objects, but even for simple console programs, you'll define a program class to hold your main method and any helpers you need. The main method is where execution begins. Its signature is typically static void main string args. The keyword static means you do not need to create an instance of the program class to call it. The array args contains any command line parameters. You can check if arg's length is greater than 0 and then display the first argument, for example. String interpolation makes combining text and variables easy. Instead of concatenating with plus signs, you write string name equal Alice, int age equal 30, console.writeLine $hello plus name plus you are plus age plus years old. This syntax is cleaner, more readable, and less error-prone. The $sign indicates that the string will contain expressions that should be evaluated, allowing you to embed variables directly within the string. This not only simplifies your code, but also enhances its clarity and maintainability. Embrace string interpolation for a more efficient coding experience. Now it's your turn. In this lab, you will write code that stores a name and an age in variables, and then prints a greeting such as, hello Alice. You are 25 years old. This will reinforce your understanding of variables and the WriteLine method. A straightforward solution looks like this. Run that in your console and observe the personalized greeting. For an extra challenge, prompt the user at runtime, ask for their name and age, then parse the input safely. Write enter your name, and read the line into a string. Write enter your age, and attempt to parse the input into an integer using try_parse. If parsing succeeds, display the greeting. Otherwise, show an error message. This adds basic user interaction and input validation to your code. Watch out for these frequent mistakes, forgetting a semicolon at the end of a statement, using the wrong case, like writing console.writeLine instead of capital C console.writeLine. Accidentally saving a file with the wrong extension, realizing that .NET is not installed or not on your system path. Always verify these basics before running your code. Let's summarize. Using imports namespaces or manages resource disposal. Namespace groups your types. A class holds methods and data. Main is the program's entry point. String interpolation and safe parsing are essential for friendly I/O. What's next? Practice variable declaration, assignment, and output, experiment with different data types, and try more input scenarios. In our next session, we'll deep dive into primitive types and collections. Also, check out Microsoft Learn's C# tutorials for guided exercises. And that brings us to the end of Lecture 1. Today you installed the .NET SDK, configured Visual Studio Code for C# development, and wrote your very first console application. You saw how a minimal Hello World program is organized behind the scenes, how the .NET command line tools build and run your code, and where to find the program file in your project. With this foundation in place, your editor, your runtime, and a basic program, you're now ready to dive deeper into C#'s syntax, structure, and features in the lectures to come. Great work, and I'll see you in Lecture 2.